right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dynasty Pylon. My name is Mark. I got Brian the Grizzly with me. How you doing today, Brian?
I'm feeling good. I mean, Martin's probably like, "Why haven't you done this yet?" We're like,
I know, probably. We are a little behind on the last team overview of 2023.
in my mind, I figure they didn't get a pick to the third round, so this is why we waited a little bit of time
Right?
because there's other teams that went before them. So
Right? That's pretty good. Yeah, we should have done a couple other teams again,
exactly. But I mean, of all teams, this is a great team. Always there at the end, so there's a lot of things to talk about. So go ahead.
That's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. Like you said, it's right. Got the Levi Stadium in the background. This is, like you said, doesn't seem to matter who the quarterback is. Year in, year out, they're always fighting for the division, making the playoffs, making crazy runs in the playoffs. I mean, 2 years ago, they got to the NFC Championship game.
After just making it to the playoffs, like by the skin of their teeth. And
right. Yeah, their playoff game started week 17 because if they lost, they weren't going to get in.
Yeah, because the Saints
beat the Rams. They beat the Rams in LA. Then they strung off all these wins, but then lost to the Rams. And then they did it again. And then last year they were like, no, we don't want to have to skate in. We're going to go ahead and get in easily with the second best record. They ended up going 13-4, I believe.
Yes, 13-4. It's so funny because it's just like when we were watching Gridiron Heights. Like it's literally it's that commercial's like, hey, we'll make it there somehow, no matter what. We just put the new car. Your car breaks down, we got another one and another one, another guy to lead our team, and that's what they did.
So they ended up going 13-4. They went 1-1 in the first two games, which Trey Lance started.
Yep. Lost to the Bears.
In
a monsoon.
In a monsoon. Wasn't very good. It was only 13 of 28 for 164 yards and one pick. And then obviously tragedy struck week 2 against Seattle when he shattered his ankle.
Oh my God.
Team still ended up going on to win 27-7. And then that's when Jimmy G took over. And he went 207 of 308 for 67.2 completion percentage, 2,437 yards, 16 touchdowns, only 4 picks for 103 rating. That was actually pretty good.
That's great.
For
a
guy that didn't even show up, I think, until week 1 of the season.
Yep. Exactly. No one thought he was going to be on the team.
Right.
And he was there, and he leads the team and does all these great numbers. And then what happened?
Up until, 12-4?
Yep.
Against Miami, where he too broken leg, I think.
Yes, broken leg.
Broken leg. Yeah. So you're like, oh, there goes Jimmy.
So all we have left on the roster is Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the 2022 draft, Mr. Brock Purdy comes in. And what did he do? Oh, he just went 114 for 170, 1,374 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 4 picks. For a rating of only, 107.3.
Oh, my gosh.
Right?
Dude, come on. Kyle Shanahan's genius.
Ridiculous. And then if that isn't even worse, he didn't lose the game until the NFC Championship game.
And they would have lost that because the only reason they lost.
And got hurt. Yep. Even the Eagles were like, yeah, that would have been a different game if Purdy didn't get hurt. I'm like, yeah, exactly. You think? But even then in the playoffs, as a rookie, this dude's going 41 of 63. For 569 yards, 3 touchdowns, and not a single turnover. Like, that's insane.
But if
for
you have
109.3.
If you have a team like that and a quarterback who doesn't make mistakes,
right?
Yeah, you could definitely win the Super Bowl with that easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think about that Eagles game. The Eagles didn't play anyone until they played them, and then Brock Purdy went out there and he still played. He was so tough. He still played and just handed the ball off because they had nobody else left.
Yep.
I was like, man, this guy's going out there and going to throw the ball with his left hand just because he can't do anything else. But, I mean, that endears you to your team, and I know I will fight for that guy.
Right? He still went out. He handed the ball off. There's even, I think, footage of the sideline of, McCaffrey, warming up. All right, let's see what my arm can do. but clearly didn't work. They ended up losing in the NFC Championship to the Eagles, which then leads us to the offseason, where you had the rumors all offseason of Trey Lance being on the trade block.
Yes.
The whole offseason. And then
I hope he goes. I really do. I mean,
I hope he goes somewhere else too where he can actually play.
When you have Sam Darnold, you brought Sam Darnold in.
Yep, Darnold in.
It makes no sense to hold on to him. Like you know, Brock Purdy's younger than just as young as Trey Lance. He could be their future, especially with Kyle Shanahan. That makes perfect sense. And Sam Darnold's a great backup behind it. So just go let Trey Lance go do what he's going to do. You know, trade him to not Minnesota.
But apparently, after hearing that he was on the trade block, I guess there was no interest in him whatsoever. Do you believe that, or do you think people are just like, if I wait a little longer, I could probably get him for cheaper?
I think they're saying we're not giving you a first round pick for him.
That's what I think, because I think they wanted at least a first round for him, which I understand because of what they gave up to get him. How crazy is it that they gave up all this to get Trey Lance, and then they're like, "Oh, Mr. Irrelevant's better than Trey Lance."
So he fits our scheme. It makes more sense,
right? I find that funny.
Well, I got a question for you. I know this is kind of off, off the topic, but would you trade Chase Young for Trey Lance?
Straight up?
Mm-hmm.
Probably at this point. I mean, I know we were linked to him when before he blew up the draft boards. There's a lot of people who thought he would fall to us. But yeah, I mean,
that will be saving your first round. Saving your first round, having the back in, and if it doesn't work out, you got Trey Lance, and he's athletic.
The 49ers need Chase Young. But
yeah, I mean,
we're not quite there yet, but I mean, they already got Nick Bosa.
Can you imagine? Not even be able to drop back.
No, let's not have. Never mind. I don't want that to happen. Nobody will be safe if that happens. So let's go over the people who they lost, which honestly surprised me. It wasn't too many people. I was looking it over.
Yeah, so like Robbie Gould.
Robbie Gould, who's still a free agent, they lost him. Jason Verrett, but I don't think that guy's played a season in his entire life. So.
Exactly.
But they did lose Azeez Al-Shaair, middle linebacker. But I think that was just because they have already how many linebackers?
Exactly. They just had another guy.
We're gonna have to just let you go.
Yeah.
I think the only other notable person, Jimmy G, obviously to the Raiders. We'll see if he plays.
And then their right tackle.
Yeah, and then McGlinchey.
McGlinchey
to Denver, I think was a big loss.
Yes.
They also lost Josh Johnson because apparently he's going to go play for Baltimore now.
Yeah, but
he hasn't played for enough teams. I just now noticed that. I thought that was pretty funny.
He was like, "Yeah, my 16. He's collecting jerseys. That's what he's doing."
They did lose Emmanuel Mosley too. He was decent.
But I feel like they had.
They're pretty deep there too.
Yeah, the only one is that right tackle did worry me. Colton Kivich is hard to place McGlinchey, so I don't know.
Oh, I agree. But they'd also lost Jimmy Ward.
Yeah,
one of their 3 wards I think they had. I don't know. I'm not even we were literally. It was one of the playoff games, and I was like,
"Is it Travarius Ward? No."
Yeah, I was like, "Is that Ward and Ward all on the left side of the defense right now?" Like, what the heck? So yeah, they did lose free safety Jimmy Ward. He followed D'Amico Ryan to the Houston Texans. I think that could be.
I don't know how much that matters. Tayshaun Gibson is a good replacement for that, especially with Hufanga being your strong safety. You're still strong there.
Yeah, but you look at what they brought in.
Yeah, it almost does better.
We lost some people, but hey, we brought in Hargrave, so
Oh my gosh,
top 5 defensive tackle. Hey,
if you weren't good enough already,
right?
Yeah, it's funny because I talked about that whole Chase Young thing. Can you imagine Bosa and Young just like in Ohio State again, and how they're dominating teams? Imagine how they'll dominate that division again with Hargrave in the middle.
Right? Yeah, they brought in Hargrave, obviously Sam Darnold, who apparently is already endearing himself to Shanahan because he's already supplanted Trey Lance as the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He doesn't make he is the perfect quarterback for him. I mean, he has talent. All you have to do is teach him how to like rein in some of his wild roots, and he can play for them. He plays well. He'll do exactly what he needs him to do. But you also still have Purdy, so it doesn't even matter.
Right. That was about. I mean, they brought in a few other people, but they're all like backups, might not even make the team kind of people.
And just that trade for McCaffrey really changed their entire team.
Well, yeah, during the middle of the season last year, that trade for McCaffrey, like put him on the, like the last thing we needed is for Kyle Shanahan to have an extraordinarily good running back.
Exactly.
Like you look what he's doing with people you don't even know. Oh, Elijah Mitchell, 6th round pick. Oh, look at him tearing it up. Oh yeah, give him a toy like McCaffrey. That was his second game in the system. He had a passing touchdown, a throwing touchdown, and a catching touchdown.
Yep. And it's so funny. We have him, and then you have Debo. You already have Debo, and Debo doesn't have to run anymore. He can just be a receiver anymore now.
That guy can run the ball, catch the ball. He's even thrown the ball. Like, it's insane, like, what they have.
Yeah. But the best tight end, blocking tight end, probably best all around. He's not Travis Kelce, but he's probably the best all around tight end, blocking, doing everything. And then you got the best left tackle in the game, as I've been saying for years with Trent Williams. I mean, the team is just stacked. Right. It really is.
It is. So we'll go over the depth chart in a second. So unlike the the Browns episode, let's do the draft recap from 2023. Right. If you would like to go over who they got.
I got you. So the 49ers didn't have a draft pick in the first 2 rounds. So their first pick was the 3rd round, number 24, Ji'ayir Brown, safety from Penn State, which is another good pick, especially after losing the free safety, picking up someone who can play free safety made sense.
Yeah.
Now with the 36th pick, they got Jake Moody, a place kicker from Michigan. 3rd round is like, wow, I thought he was going to go late 4th.
Yeah, I think they were scared New England was going to take him in the 4th before they could get him.
And they would have been right because New England took a place kicker.
They didn't have a 4th, so
you had to do something. But doing that made sense. And then getting Cameron Latu from Alabama with the third round, 38th pick overall. I think that was a good one now because you need to have someone to help out George Kittle. You can even go double tight in times. I mean, this is what the NFL is going to, especially with Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
All right, so now in the 5th round, number 21 overall, they got Darrell Luter Jr., cornerback from South Alabama. 5th round, 39th pick, Robert Beal Jr. from Georgia, which is always a good pick. That's a great place to go if you want to go grab your guys. I'm surprised he didn't go to the Eagles.
Right.
Then the 6th round.
The Eagles were probably right there, like,
They're probably like, you got our guy.
We were going to get that guy.
They got D. Winters, inside linebacker from TCU. Then in the 7th round, they had 3 picks. At 30, they had Braden Willis, tight end from Oklahoma. 736, Ronnie Bell, wide receiver from Michigan. And Jalen Graham was number 38, outside linebacker from Purdue. You could say that those 7th round picks didn't matter, but remember who's leading their team. A 7th round pick, the last draft.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant, and he's the one who's the starting quarterback. So all these positions, all these picks mean something. And they're going to institutions that are historically good places to teach football.
Right.
So I thought that was very interesting.
Now, with the departure of DeMeco Ryan, do you think the defense
takes a step
back? Do you think they already had someone in waiting, so they're like, we're good?
I think they already had someone in waiting. They're already ready to go. And it's just, you can't do anything with talent. And then you adding players to a stacked depth chart already. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense being able to do that. You can't do wrong with Javon Hargrave going into your defensive tackle. Like, literally, your 3 technique is going to put so much pressure, and you got people coming from the outside doing crazy stuff. So, I mean, no matter, you can't teach pressure. So you put pressure on the other team's quarterback, your defense is going to perform.
Oh, what am I talking about? Steve Wilkes is their new defense.
I know, that's what I was saying. I was like, actually,
they're going to be probably maybe better. Who knows? I mean, you look about that before Ryan, they had Saleh. So,
and it's funny, and all their
Steve Wilkes has got to be like, I'm going to get a second chance.
Exactly. He's like, you know what? I'll have my chance.
I'm not going back there.
Oh man, no one wants that job.
Yeah. Well, Gannon did. That's why he took it.
No, that was terrible.
All right, let's check out this very high-powered offense.
Oh, I don't even know what to do. They have
right.
They have three guys that can start.
Right?
It doesn't even make sense. Like, so I want to do offense. You do defense. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So I will do quarterback. Of course, they got Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance behind him, and Brandon Allen, who also should be on the depth chart because he probably will make the team because I don't believe Trey Lance will be there by the time the 53-man roster comes out.
Right. He'll be like that emergency quarterback.
Exactly. That one that they're allowed now with the new rule.
And he's not terrible, honestly.
Oh,
I mean, he's not like overwhelmingly good, but like you put him in like a Shanahan type system, I'm sure he could probably succeed. It's the fact that he doesn't turn the ball over.
Exactly. Then a running back, of course, you got Christian McCaffrey, probably top 3 running backs in all the NFL. And behind him, you have Elijah Mitchell, who will start for half teams in the NFL right now, too. And then Jordan Mason and Tyrion Davis-Price. So that's your running back room. And then when you look at wide receivers, they literally have 2 number 1 receivers with Debo and Brandon Ayuk. Jawan Jennings, I'm not sold on, but we'll see. Then we got Ray McLeod the third, Danny Gray, Chris Conley, Ronnie Bell, Willie Snead the fourth.
I was just looking at that right now. I was like, Willie Snead is way down there.
Oh man, Tay Martin. You got Daz Newsome, which I know Daz Newsome can play, and Isaiah Winstead. So that's their wide receiver. Their wide receiver room could still be good and explosive. So, man.
Well, at first I was kind of like, oh, they're kind of not like you get past Ayuk and Samuel, but then I see some of these names and I'm like, wait a minute,
I know that guy.
Never mind. Like Willie Snead, that guy can play. Daz Newsome. Maybe they got some depth. I don't know why they're that far down, but
probably because they're coming into a new system. But knowing Kyle Shanahan's system is half the battle. It really is. Then tight end, of course, we got George Kittle. I love George Kittle. He's a Bears fan. He's from Iowa. I love the guy. He's like my favorite tight end in the NFL.
I just love him as a person, man. He's hilarious.
He's awesome. Yeah. And then we got Cameron Latu that they drafted, and then Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelly. So those tight ends are great, but they also run a fullback. Probably the best fullback in all the NFL.
Juice.
I mean, Kyle Juszczyk. How you say it? Juszczyk?
Juszczyk. I think it's Juszczyk.
Yeah, Juszczyk.
So just call him Juice.
Juice is all I know.
Juice. Yeah, Juice. Juice. Yeah, they got a backup fullback. It was the first team I think they had a backup fullback.
Jack Coletto. Yeah, I was like, all right.
Lord, they got 2 fullbacks. All right.
Then the left tackle, they have the best left tackle in the game, Trent Williams. I mean, come on.
That's with that. Yeah.
You don't even need a backup after that. And Matt Pryor is backup. Aaron Banks is left guard with Jason Poe, his backup. Jake Brendel, the center, with John Feliciano as his backup. Spencer Buford with Nick Zakel as their the right guard, and Colton McKivitz with Jalen Moore as the right tackle. They had some other guys, but I don't know if they're going to make the team, so I kept it at 10.
I do feel like the offensive line might have taken a step back.
Oh, definitely.
Because, I mean, Trent Williams is all world, don't get me wrong, but he's up there.
He's what, 32, 33 now?
I think he's close to that, if not.
He's 34.
I was going to say, I think he might even be 34, yeah.
I mean, I think it doesn't matter. I mean,
he just turned 34 today.
Happy birthday, Trent Williams.
Happy birthday, Trent Williams. I'm just looking at there. I was like, the 19th of July. Oh, how about that? So yeah, just turned 34 today.
But you never see those left tackles don't like fall off the world. Like once you know how to play left tackle, you know he's good for 3 years.
But let's just hope he can stay healthy because I know he's had some injury issues.
Yeah.
But outside of Trent Williams, I don't know. I mean,
none of those.
They
don't.
None of them just jump out at you like, oh, that guy's really good.
Agreed.
But I mean, most of Shanahan's systems are schemes, so as long as they can get the scheme right, I guess that's all that really matters, huh?
And then once you have, as I said, you have Juice, you have Trent Williams.
Oh yeah, and
George Kittle. You just run to the outside.
Those are other blockers. So
you say, all right, we're not going to worry about the right side. We're just going to run to the left side. We're going to power all the way down the field.
I think the funniest thing I've seen all offseason was Kelsey was like, because he's talking about being at, because he has his New Heights show.
Yeah.
And he was talking about being at the tight end U. And he goes, because his brother is the best center in football. And he's like, I learned how to block.
Yeah, no one believes that though.
Kittle taught me.
Exactly, Kittle.
Yep. And I was like, well, if you're gonna learn how to block as a tight end, that's probably the best place you could go. I'm pretty sure Kittle is like one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL.
By far. And the fact that he could do that, I mean, he could go weeks without being in the passing game because he's such a good blocker. Mm-hmm. He's literally like having an extra tight end and an extra lineman on the team. And then he goes and tears it up again.
Catches, yep.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Yeah. But, okay, so they have a base 4-3 defense, so you want to go through the roster there?
Sure. Base 4-3, but they kind of run a hybridish, don't they? Like, they run a lot of nickel.
Most definitely. Yeah. A lot of times you find they walk a linebacker up a lot.
God, this is not fair, man. This defensive line is insane. So you got Drake Jackson, who's probably the least known of the four, and he's still not even terrible. With Kerry Hyde Jr. behind him. And then you got the new guy, Javon Hargrave, who's easily top 5 defensive tackle in the NFL. With Javon Kinlaw behind him. And then you got Eric Armstead.
He was amazing too.
And the funny thing is he was at his best when he had DeForest Buckner next to him.
And now he has Hargrave.
And now you have Hargrave. I was like, oh, Lord. With Kevin Gibbons behind him. And then obviously you have all-world edge rusher, Mr. Nick Bosa, with Clyde Farrell behind him.
Yeah.
And then you get to their linebackers where you're just like, life isn't fair either.
Exactly.
You got Dre Greenlaw. I mean, he is coming off an injury. I believe he should be ready week 1.
He is. He's supposed to be ready for training camp, actually.
Right. And then you got Fred Warner playing middle linebacker, which obviously he's arguably the best linebacker in the whole NFL.
Yeah.
And then you got Robert Beal Jr. behind Greenlaw, and then Curtis Robinson behind Warner. Mm-hmm. And then you got even Oren Burks, which, obviously he's not those two guys, but he's still not bad.
I think as a strong side linebacker, he will be starting on most teams.
Yeah. Right? That's what I'm saying. But the fact that he's with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, you're like,
you look terrible because
but he's so good. It's not fair. And you got Demetrius Flanagan Fowles behind him.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got
Charvarius
Ward, Hufanga.
Oh my goodness.
With Taj Gibson Sr. and DeMondre Lenore. And then we got Isaiah Oliver, obviously Ji'ayir Brown, who they just drafted, George Odom, and Ambry Thomas. Like, it's just not fair how deep and good this entire defense is, man.
I think Sam Womack is going to probably make the team too. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, yeah, Samuel Womack the third, yep. He's their third string, and he could start on other teams. Like,
it's literally he's better than everyone that Arizona has. Mm-hmm. Defense, so just in the same division.
Insane. It's just insane just how good this whole team is.
But that's how you build a team, And then you have a coach that knows how to run the ball, knows how to play call, and knows all his strengths and all his weaknesses, and stays away from his weaknesses and always goes towards his strengths. Mm-hmm. This team's going to always be good, no matter what happens.
Right. So good job, Kyle Shanahan. Good job, John Lynch.
John Lynch has been making great moves.
7 years of being together, you guys have made this a juggernaut, honestly.
I remember the time when Trent Williams was out there free because Washington did their Washington thing. And I was like, of all teams, San Francisco gets him? Come on, man. It just didn't seem fair. I was so upset.
I think they got him right after Staley retired, too.
Exactly. So they went from a great left tackle to the best left tackle. Mm-hmm. It just kept it going.
I agree. I was like, just the rich getting richer, man.
Exactly.
So that's going to lead us.
Terrible.
Right. It's going to lead us to do probably one of the hardest versions of this.
Yeah.
But here, our new segment.
Taking. Gambling. Hell
no. Oops, I just did it again because why not? So, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
This way, I want you to go first.
Cool. I would love to go first. It's interesting. There's just so many. I'm gonna go defensive side. Why not?
Okay.
I think taking. I'm gonna go Nick Bosa.
Oh
dude's
no.
Dude's only 25. He's a beast. He puts up crazy numbers. He even had an injury and came back freakishly fast from it.
Exactly. Almost better. I was like, how better?
Right? Dude's coming off 18 and a half sack season. Dude already has 43 total career sacks. And he's only 25. And he missed
like 2019.
And I'm pretty sure he missed a whole season too.
Yeah. He's played 3 full years. I honestly believe it's something around 38 games or something like that. It's just
right? Like, it's insane. Like, yeah. How do you not take a guy like Nick?
I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So 51 games total. 51 games, 41 sacks.
Right?
Come on. That doesn't make sense.
They also have Zane Gonzalez on their team. I don't know why. Right. Jake Moody's going to be the kicker, obviously.
Because you drafted him in the 3rd round. Yeah, exactly. All right, so who are you gambling on?
So gambling? I'm going to say... it's just hard. I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell.
Okay.
I think even with McCaffrey there, he'll still have a prominent role. Because obviously they don't want to run McCaffrey to the ground. Mm-hmm. And then 2, you always have that injury fear with McCaffrey.
Yep.
Which would open the door for a lot more touches by Elijah Mitchell.
So you get him in like a 10th round, and next thing you know, he's a star running back and get you 1,000 yards. Yeah, that's a good one.
Because you know he could do it because he did it before McCaffrey got there. He just happened to get hurt, unfortunately, which seems to be a trend with running backs. Which I thought it was kind of, or 49 running backs, which I thought it was funny that they would go out and trade for Christian McCaffrey.
The one who's been hurt all the time.
Our running backs do nothing but get hurt. Hey, McCaffrey, we're going to trade for you. But it worked out. He had a remarkable year. And then who am I not taking?
Who's your hell no?
I think the only real person on here that I got to say hell no is probably Trey Lance. Just because, I mean, he's already bumped down to 3rd string. Like we said, there was no interest in anybody wanting to trade him. But like we said, I think that's just because they weren't willing to give up what they wanted at the time. I'm sure if it goes down to like a 3rd or a 4th, someone will be like, take 2 fire on him. Take 2 for it. Yeah.
Why not?
Take 2 for it. I'll do it. What's the worst will be? The same situation we are in now.
And then all of a sudden they take those 2 4s and draft like the next great right tackle and next great fullback.
Right. I could say Trey Lance as of right now. It's just not someone that's on my radar.
Okay.
It's kind of sad because I kind of had problems for him, but
I've been saying from the beginning that I didn't like a guy who didn't have enough of a college career for me to fall back on. And those are quarterbacks I like quarterbacks that had something in college that shows that they learn how to be a leader, not just potential. He's been a lot of potential for like now 4 years.
Well, I think he needed to be in a situation like Aaron Rodgers was in, where he gets drafted and then he just sit on the bench for 3 years
and just
learn how to play the position at that level, learn everything because he was still raw. I think he only had like 1 year in college.
1 year at a D2 school,
yeah. And then before that, I don't even think he really played football until I think high school was it.
Yep.
As far as organized football, and then he kind of exploded, got to North Dakota State, and then exploded there. So I don't know.
But during the pandemic, so it wasn't even against great competition, so you don't know what you got.
Mm-hmm. So he just needed to sit.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. So who am I taking? I am going to go Brandon Ayuk. I think this is the year.
I was almost saying Brandon Ayuk. I do like him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes to end up being the number 1 target over Debo this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Debo has injuries. Brandon Ayuk he plays. He's there. His availability is there. He has great hands. He has great route running ability. if you get him in your early in the round, I mean, he is still very young. He's very polished. That's a no-brainer to me. You know, give me the 25-year-old guy.
Right.
You know. So that's my taking. Where am I gonna go? I'm gambling. I'm gonna go Dre Greenlaw because that's a gamble because he's coming off an injury. I just believe in this defense. He's gonna eat. He's gonna eat a lot. You know, especially with having a dominant defensive line like that, they're going to funnel things right to him, and you don't have to worry about offensive linemen coming trying to block you. You're going to be able to flow and make tackles. So that's going to be my gamble. My gamble is because he's injured, but I think he's going to have a great year still. So much though, so I'm gonna be looking for him on my fantasy team.
He's slightly on the older side at 26.
Yeah, he's so old.
I said slightly.
Hey, well, you know, at San Francisco, their linebackers do retire early, so you never know.
That's true.
He might only have 4 more years in him. And then
staying away from him.
I don't want even to sniff. Who is that?
Who's your hell no? It's not very many, let me tell you.
It's so hard. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go. No, I can't do that. I'm gonna go Juwan Jennings. I don't want anything to do with Juwan Jennings. I think he's a 4th target, and even being the 4th target, I don't think he's really the 4th. I really think he's the 5th target. He might be the 6th target. It might be Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and then George Kittle, and then Juwan Jennings. So I don't want anything to do with him. If we were doing a draft, I think we did this draft, and Juwan Jennings didn't get drafted at all. And we were just doing IDP in, a few playmakers.
That's crazy because he was the 3rd receiver too.
Exactly, and he still went without.
Well, as you said, he's probably the 5th target then.
If Elijah Mitchell is not in front of him, he might be the 6th target. It's just so with that being the case, and with Kyle Shanahan loving his guys,
Juszczyk too,
and Juice. So
yeah,
I mean,
they like to throw to him too.
He might not be worth any type of pick at all, even though he's a starter. So I'm staying the hell away from that.
Yeah, all right.
What we got next?
So this will switch us into what we got scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. That's going to be their schedule.
All right.
You want to read it? You want me?
I think you should go ahead and read this one.
Okay. So they open the season at Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers on opening weekend, 9-10. Then after that, they go from Pittsburgh to Los Angeles to play the Rams. But I mean, that's like having a bye week at this point. So,
yeah, exactly.
So then you got come back home to play the New York Giants on Thursday night. So that kind of sucks. Not that bad, actually. Go from Los Angeles back to San Francisco.
That does at LA to go all the way to New York in 4 days. That does suck.
Yeah. No, they're at home for the Giants. They're not in New York. So that's what.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It's from the Rams to San Francisco. It's nothing.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, that's what I said. So that wasn't as bad as I originally thought it was. And then they got
another bye week.
Home. Yeah, and then another bye week. They're at home to play the Cardinals. Maybe it's just let Trey Lance play in those games.
Exactly.
We take on the Rams and the Cardinals, and then we'll see what we want from there. But then they stay at home again to play the Dallas Cowboys, which is a rematch of the divisional round of playoffs from last year. Then you got the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland on week 6. Week 7, they're in Minnesota to play the Vikings on Monday Night Football, which will be an advantage because we all know Cousins can't play on primetime games.
Exactly. If it's not on,
too much time Sunday, to think about it, so it gets in his head.
If it's not Sunday at noon, he's in trouble.
Right. Exactly. And then they host the Cincinnati Bengals, which actually might be the most look forward game to, I think, on this list so far for me. I think it'll be a really good game. Rematch of those 2 Super Bowls from the 80s.
And then you have a bye, right?
And then they have a nice middle bye, which isn't bad.
Week 9 bye. That's
middle.
great.
Yeah. It's usually what I prefer, like kind of in the middle. Middle to end is the premium for me. I hate the early ones. The worst.
But I feel like they have 2 buys anyway because they have the Cardinals and Rams coming back in the second half
right?
again.
Exactly. Right? They had so they're gonna have like 5 bye weeks by the time
exactly
the season's over. Well, don't forget they play the Commanders too. So.
Hey, well, you know, I give you guys more than a bye.
You
gotta play. You gotta play.
I feel like quarterback aside, we're still a tough team.
Yeah.
But then they play the Jacksonville Jaguars after the bye, so that should be another good game. Followed by a home game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which would be another bye. And then you got the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle on Thursday night.
That's another tough game.
Yeah. And then they got the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly.
But they do have 10. But they do have 10 days off before the Eagles game.
They do, which is pretty nice for them. And that'll be their rematch of the championship game. Hopefully they can take some revenge and beat them. Exactly. And then they head home to play the Seattle Seahawks. And then they end the season at Arizona week 15. Week 16, they got the Baltimore Ravens at home. Then they had 2 of the Commanders to play Washington on week 17. And then they end the season on yet another bye week.
Exactly.
Playing the Los Angeles Rams.
Rolling. They're going to be rolling into the bye week.
Now they can rest their starters and still win that game.
Yep. We don't want to win. How many wins do you see on this thing?
That is a great question. Sorry. Doing like a million things here at the same time. I mean, I feel like there's a few. I mean, if I'm going to just look at games, I think they'll win. See, like, the first part of the season, like the first game, kind of iffy to me.
Yeah.
But I even think if Sam Darnold starts that game, I still think the 49ers will win.
They could win, but I know the Steelers will be tough because Mike Tomlin will have his team
ready. I don't
think
it'll be easy. I don't think it'll be easy, but I just think the 49ers defense is way better than that Pittsburgh offense.
Mm-hmm. But the Steelers defense is good. And
I agree.
If you're worried about that quarterback, if Sam Darnold throws interceptions, the game could change.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Kyle Shanahan is good at not doing that. So
right, he is. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I still think they'll have the edge against the Steelers. I think they'll beat the Rams.
Yeah.
I think they'll beat the Giants. They're going to careen the Cardinals.
Yep.
I think they beat Dallas. It's a primetime game. I mean, I think it'll be another good game, but I still think they'll have the edge. I think they can beat the Browns. I think they beat the Vikings. Man, my already at 7. They're 7-0 right now, apparently. It's cool. Let's throw it off. They'll lose to the Bengals.
Okay.
That's another team that's pretty stout and everything. So I'm going to say they lose to the Bengals. They lose to Jags.
So that's 10 a.m. So is that overseas?
I got 1 p.m. You must have West Coast times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say I have 1 p.m.
I was like, number 10. I was like, oh,
I mean, you're not. It could be because it is the Jaguars and they always play overseas. But.
Exactly. But it says at Jaguar, so yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. I don't know. I'm going to go with Jacksonville wins just because it's in Jacksonville.
Okay.
I think Jacksonville is a good team.
I think Jacksonville, all those numbers you guys are talking about, change with D-Hop signed with the Tennessee Titans.
You think
I think those numbers go down.
Tampa gets
to 11.
Kills them. Yeah, that'll be win 8. I'm going to say they lose to the Seahawks in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lose. I'll just say it. They'll lose to Philly, unfortunately.
Okay.
I hope they beat them. They beat Seattle. They beat Arizona again. And a Ravens game, though, going to be tough. On Monday Night Football, too.
Mm-hmm.
But they're at home, so I'll give it to them.
On Christmas,
I'll give it to them. I'm going to go ahead and say they beat Washington, and then they beat the Rams. So I'm at 13 wins.
I'm at 12, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all the stuff that you said. I was like, I'm at 12 wins.
Yeah.
So between 12 and 13 wins, I mean, they're still going to be right there for.
So is the only difference we have the Jacksonville game? I'm assuming.
Yeah. No. So you said that Jacksonville. I have them beating Jacksonville, which gives me extra win, and I have them losing to the Browns. So I think the Browns.
Losing to the Browns.
I think that defense is early in the season. I think that's a good one to catch them, and I think they lose to the Steelers. But I think they beat the Jags. So balances out.
Yeah. So we're pretty much on the same page. 12, 13, so 12 and a half. Let's see what the
over under for them.
I should have had this. Over under wins 49. 10 and a half.
10 and a half.
11 and a half.
Okay. And 11 and a half of them, I'm at 12 and 11 and a half. I mean, between us, we're at 12 and a half. It's a game. So no matter what, they're vying for a number one seed. They are in a very terrible division. Depends on what the Seahawks are. They could.
So honestly, that Eagles game could be very big as far as standings are concerned. That could decide
who's the number one
seed in the NFC. Because we have them at 12 and a half, and we have the Eagles at 14. But if 49ers win that game, it's suddenly
13 and a half
to 13. Yep.
Exactly.
So
and what's interesting about the 49ers is they have 10 days before that game.
Yeah.
So they get to heal up. They get to really focus on the team.
I was leaning, but just because it's in Philly, I said for the sake of argument, I'll just say Philly wins. Because also at that point, I think I only had one loss for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, no, they're going to have some losses. I'm going to need to.
I just think they'll have more losses more in the beginning of the season. And then once they realize who they are, they hit the Rams, the Giants, the Cardinals,
just
the
Cowboys,
like last year. And they start rolling. But I think the Browns are a scary team. That's the one team I worry about.
They were 3-4 last year.
And
then they won the last 10 games of the season.
Exactly.
To finish 13-4. So
once they hit their stride, it's going to be hard to beat them. Because they make you play at their pace. They bring you into their game. So I think this is a tough team. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be one of the best NFC teams. I still think they could give AFC teams a run for their money. So it's kind of interesting that they got the Bengals. Like I said, that's a game I'm going to mark. That's a game I'm going to want to watch. The Eagles game will be a game I'd probably want to watch. I mean, obviously, as a Commanders fan, I'd watch that one.
I'm interested in the Jags, and I'm interested in the Cowboys, and interested in the Browns. I think the Browns, I'm telling you, are sneaky, like a sneaky good team. And at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't want to play that defense. I don't want to play Myles Garrett ever. That dude is a man, and their defense got better. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. And then, like we said in the last episode, once Martin gets back, we'll have our league overview. This was our last team. We had the 49ers at 12 and a half. That's easily good enough to win their division. I believe we had the Seahawks finishing second.
Yeah, exactly.
With 10 wins.
Which is because the other two teams are like 2 and 3. So
it was like 3 and then like 2 and then 3 for those teams. So obviously they were up there. But so when he gets back, we'll look at that, break down the AFC and the NFC. Should be fun. Anything else you got, Brian?
No, I mean, this is fun. I can't wait for us to really talk about this stuff because the season is right around the corner, guys. Most teams' rookies report Saturday, and most teams' veterans report Tuesday next week. And there's 9 teams that already had their rookies report.
I was going to say rookies have already reported for 19. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about that. The season's here, guys. Training camp is here. The season is here. Hall of Fame game is within 2.5 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
We are here. Football is here. So get ready. Get your football brain working. Get your fantasy drafts going. Let's go.
Right. All right. Well, thanks guys for watching. If you got this far, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Later. First, now I got to find the outro. Don't mind me. Hey.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living.